I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on Spotlight, we are talking about people and organizations that are rotten to the core. Actually, we're focusing on one event. Back in 2009, it began to take place. People staging the 2018 World Cup. England and Russia both vying to host this prominent event, and they're willing to go to any length to secure it, including paying out some money. Our next guest, Rob Murphy, is not rotten to the core, but he is the author of the book, Rotten to the Core. It is a must read for anyone who loves football or soccer or whatever you call it, depending on where you live. Rob Murphy, thank you so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
All right, many thanks, Logan. Thank you for inviting me on to your program.
My pleasure, my pleasure. So, tell me a little bit about why you decided to write this book.
Got the idea 7 years ago, Logan. It was from the former U.S. Attorney-General Loretta Lynch, if you remember, decided to launch prosecutions against several leading members and officials of the International Soccer Federation, FIFA, amongst others, and it even included the USA's own representative. And that led me to believe that this was this was more than ordinary, in fact, very extraordinary. There's always been allegations that that money has changed hands to secure such prestigious prestigious events.
Right.
And clearly the most prestigious in the world, and the Olympic Games.
Why was Russia and England so determined and so desperate to stage this World Cup event?
Because of the length of time since they last staged such an event. With England, they last staged the World Cup back in 1966. It was a much smaller tournament. There were only 16 teams taking part. These days, Logan, there's I believe 32 countries send teams to the World Cup, and very successfully in 2012. It has been almost a holy grail to try and secure the next World Cup. They have tried before, most notably in 2000 to try and secure the 2006 World Cup, and their bid failed because the long-standing problem of soccer hooliganism was still prevalent and manifested itself in that year's European Championships, which ended up with Germany being the hosts. With
Your
Russia,
book focuses on the then Secretary-General of FIFA. Tell us a little bit about what kind of pressure he was facing and what kind of money he was offered.
Well, Russia desperately wanted to stage the tournament. The last time that any major sporting event took place there, and I was going to come to that, was back in 1980 when they staged the Olympic Games. If you remember, several countries, including the USA, refused to take part as a protest against the Soviet Union's invasion of Afghanistan the year before. So Russia was desperate to stage the World Cup, and when Russia wants to get something, there is something in their national psyche. They can be very ruthless, and they are sometimes ready to go beyond what is acceptable.
Absolutely.
They can be. Picard, with François Picard, there was a certain amount of payback because Russia had supported France's bid to stage the 1998 World Cup and were expecting a favour in return. And oligarchs close to the Russian president were ready to offer money to both Picard and to other members of FIFA in return for them both, deciding to give the World Cup to Russia.
It was an offer that was tough to refuse. They were going to give money to Picard that would actually change the trajectory of the rest of his life, right?
Very much so. He found himself in a hole because as part of the plan to land Russia the World Cup was to support what appeared to be a no-hope bid for the European Soccer Championships in 2016 by Scotland and Wales. His reckoning was that if Scotland and Wales failed to stage the tournaments, that by extension they would undermine England's reputation and competence, and that people would not back an England bid.
Amazing. The passions over football are incredible. I mean, just this past weekend, we saw like 175 people die in Indonesia.
Yeah, you mean the match out in Indonesia? Yes, I heard about that.
Yeah.
It's not the only incident. There have been many incidents right across the world, and the United Kingdom's not been immune. It's about 27 years ago since a disaster happened in Belgium at the Heysel football stadium when the European Cup final was taking place, and it ended up with English clubs being banned from all European competitions for the following 6 years.
It's amazing. What do you think inspires such passion? I mean, over here in the States, we love baseball, we love football, we love basketball, but there really aren't riots at the game. But it's different when it comes to soccer. I think it's region versus region, country versus country, community versus community, that each want to kind of met out their own revenge or, power.
It does at club level. Almost every club in the English Football League has a close, will have a close rival. I mean, good examples are in Manchester, but Manchester United's main rival is Manchester City. Their neighbours are across on the other side. Similarly, if in a European competition, an English club comes up against opponents from Scotland or from Wales, again, national passions are aroused, and the same happens in international football. Often events going back years are still remembered and still drive enmity. Good examples have been when Germany has played the Netherlands, and when Russia has played Poland. Often memories from the Second World War are brought up again.
It's basically a proxy war, that we're not fighting you on the battlefield, we're fighting you on the playing field, and we're taking that battle into the stands.
It can often be like that, Logan. Indeed, many of the UK newspapers were heavily critical in 1996, where they were using, particularly when the semi-final, which was between England and Germany, they were resorting to language from the Second World War.
Amazing how rivalries die hard. Are you working on anything else right now? This book is fantastic. I would imagine you've got other books churning up here at the very least, but perhaps you put pen to paper.
At the moment, only in my head, Logan.
Okay.
I'm waiting to see whether Rotten to the Core sells well and provides me with the capital to afford what is a considerable cost of promoting and marketing novels these days.
Absolutely. Well, it's a sensational book. I would think that all of those people who are passionate about the sport would be fascinated to see what happened behind the scenes when England and Russia were going head to head, each trying to host the World Cup back in 2018.
And not only sports fans, Logan. I think people with interest in political intrigue might be interested, because there's a subplot connected with the the attempts by Scotland and Wales to stage Euro 2016 and François Picard's attempt to undermine that, that bid, because he had realised he had supported a bid against his own country, and he was trying to desperately undo that. And as he does so, he digs himself into a larger and larger hole. He goes to the point of even hiring a contract assassin to try and take out some people with knowledge of what's happened.
Unbelievable. Yeah, it's a riveting tale. It's a morality tale, really, if you look at what happened to Francois Picard. And you're right, whether you're interested in politics, whether you're interested in corporate structures, whether you're interested into the sporting world, you will see what happens when people are trying to reach that top level. They will go to great lengths, and in many cases, they will be rotten to the core. The name of the book is Rotten to the Core. It is written by Rob Murphy. It is a sensational book. It's available anywhere you'd like to buy books. Rob Murphy's website is on our TV screen right now. Of course, you can also go to Amazon and you can get it on Kindle or paperback to read at your leisure. Rob Murphy, thank you so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
Logan, many thanks for inviting me.
My pleasure, my pleasure. And perhaps when I'm in London again, we'll raise a plane together.
We might, Logan. I will be attending the London Book Fair next April, so that might be an opportunity.
Oh, that'd be wonderful. That'd be wonderful. I'll have to see if I can get that on my agenda, but it'd be a pleasure meeting up with you there, my friend. To the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time, this time. Until next time on Spotlight.